I'm your host, G2,
And I'm your co-host, Raptor.
and we're the Radio Riders.
Radio Riders.
Okay, this is episode 2.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Pretty quick. It should be a quick show today. We're just gonna talk newest episode of 01 and talk about recent toy releases and a quick Q&A that's about to start right now. Raptor, you have the floor.
Okay, so as you guys know, in the comments section actually of the last video, I made sure to point out that we were going to do a Q&A section. And so because of this, we're now going to take a little bit of time for us to answer all the questions that we got in that video. So as for question number 1, there were no questions.
There were no questions. Thank you. If
Moving
you want
on.
if you want to put questions in the comments, if you do watch, please do. We would love to answer them on the show. It gives us more stuff to talk about, but we have plenty of that anyway. But we'd appreciate any additional.
Then your scissors, I guess.
That's the worst insult I've ever heard, because at least Scissors did something.
You're right. He died.
Did he do much? No.
No.
But he did something. Alright, so let's talk releases. Early last week, a little bit after we uploaded, like a couple days, I think it was a Thursday, we got our first 2 DX Pro Guys Legend Rider keys. That being the Rider Timing GO and the Common Writing Decade keys. Thoughts on those 2, Raptor?
No.
Alright, I'll start. They're both cool. I mean, the color selection is pretty decent on them. I like the prints. I like that where the jingles are remixes of pre-existing 01 Pro Guys key jingles. That it's kind of fun. That's gonna add an extra guess of like that leaves us like with a an idea of like what the other releases are gonna sound like. As for like the actual jingles themselves, Geo's is good, including the text to speech part at the end. Though the Decade one has a good, a decent like singing part of the jingle. There was actually a mishap, probably a typo with their text to speech program, and now it doesn't make sense at all.
Destroyer of what words?
I don't know what happened there. Very shame on you, Bandai, for Toei Bandai or whatever, for such a low quality assurance. We're watching you. Next.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, it's standard. It's like, woo, Legend Rider items. Woo! Get the ones that you like. Get the ones with your favorite riders.
Well, since I have to be Negative Nancy and point out bad things every once in a while so that we have some form of balance.
Yes.
I've heard some people complaining, actually.
Oh.
Not specifically about the keys, but about the fact that we're getting more Legend Rider items immediately after the season where the whole gimmick was Legend Rider items.
Yeah, I saw that too, but like I mean, they're gonna do it regardless because they sell, and it's kind of fun to see like to have a token of maybe your favorite Heisei rider, like in any form possible. But I do understand how that was. It's kind of a little bit weird coming off of such a big celebration as Geo was. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, came off of a huge party.
Yeah,
and now we're here. Speaking of party, everybody. No, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah.
That song is really catchy, by the way. If y'all haven't heard it, y'all should listen to it.
I listen to it on constant repeat.
That's fair.
It's good. Yeah, I like I said, I could see that. Why that would be upsetting to some people or like a little bit iffy. I do remember a rumor a while back before Heisei, my bad, Kamen Rider Reiwa, the first generation. Like there's a little bit of rumors for it, like that there were not going to be any legend riders appearing in it, and that quote unquote they wanted to leave that in the past and move forward. And with the legend rider keys, I find that a little bit hypocritical, but again, that's a rumor, so it may not even be true.
Well, I mean, as we've seen from the trailers, at least, we've clearly got another Ichigo. So
yeah, but I feel like that was more like a hey, this is the beginning of the Reiwa era with 01 being the first Reiwa rider, you know, and having more riders is nothing I'm gonna complain about.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on, and more uneventful releases. Upside, Realize got released on CD, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Realize.
But it, per yearly usual, we get a not a legend rider. My bad. We get a special gimmick, special edition gimmick with the CD release. This being a Realize Rising Hopper progress key.
Oh, wait, before you say anything, remember it's my job to be the bad guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, take the floor.
The key is shit. Which is weird because from a purely objective point of view, it's not a bad key.
No.
It is basically the exact same thing as the Rising Hopper key, which is a perfectly fine key.
Yes.
But subjectively, as something that's supposed to be new and, an extension upon what we already had, it's really lacking in terms of what it actually can do.
Yeah, it doesn't have much to entice you. I mean, obviously, you're probably buying for if you were a Japanese, customer, rider fan, you'd be buying it for the music, most likely anyway. But it's always nice to see them go the extra mile. And what we essentially have is a Rising Hopper key with an alternate faceplate and a different sticker underneath and an extra and two different sounds, being the second activation that just says Realize's ability, and then with the third being it playing the song. And that's cool. That's neat to have, but like there's been better music gimmicks before. Namely, what we were talking before the show, namely the Excite Gashat actually played that music during the Henshin jingle, something like that.
It played the main fighting the insert theme after you transformed.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see something like that. All right, in other better news. The Oma Geo driver has been getting into the hands of people, and it looks and sounds fantastic. It has so many different lines from both Oma Geo and Sogo, and it has some lines from the final episode, including Waz's reluctant Iwaya speech.
Oh, and don't forget the greatest sound clip in the entire belt.
Exactly. It also has the Henshin, of course, the finish, and all 20 additional finishers based on all 20 Heisei riders, including normal Geo.
Which, honestly, it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's got a nice gold paint finish. They didn't cheap out on this, which I'm glad they did, because they could have kind of used a cheaper paint or cheaper golden plastic that just wouldn't do the job right. But it does its job very well.
Yeah, that's basically how I feel on it, honestly.
Yeah, it does have an LED, which obviously, and it actually has all 20 main riders in it for those different finishers. With the general formula being, insert rider name no Toki, rider's finish. So Ryuki no Toki, final vento, and it there's not a special explosion sounds, but there's a couple different ones in there for different varied playability, is what I would say.
That's fair.
So, in general, pretty slow week as far as toy releases and Rider goes. But we're in like that middle road area where like stuff is about to debut. So like, and that's what I'm coming to now. I'm speaking about it. Going back to Legend Rider keys. Sorry, the backtrack, kind of like Toei.
Funny joke.
I think I just realized they do the Legend Rider stuff for these little like lulls in the these little like down periods in the release schedule. It's that makes sense now that I think about it. Before our next 01 form and or rider appears. Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right. So now what everyone is waiting for,
it's time to talk about our new favorite cake.
New cake?
Yeah, new cake.
New cake. What are you talking about?
Birthday. Happy birthday.
It's no one's birthday. What are you talking about?
I don't even know. I guess we're talking about O's instead of the new episode.
You know what? We could do that if you wanted to.
I literally can't. I haven't finished O's.
All right, then we're on. So, this episode is episode 19. She is a home-selling Humagear. That is the title. Rough English translation. From the wonderful people at the Rider Wiki.
Thank you, Rider Wiki.
Yes, thank you. You supply our fandom in informational things. So, what did you think of the episode? Or do we want to wait until we're done discussing it?
You know what? You can go on head first, actually.
Okay.
I'm curious in your opinions on it.
It's a good. It was a good episode. Got to meet another Humagear, another scumbag who is using the ZAIA spec. So, all right. So the general synopsis of the episode this time around is it's round 2. It's round 2 of the ZAIA versus HIDEN like competition, business competition to see if there will be a buyout or not. And the second challenge is that of home selling, as the title would imply. So we get to meet a new Humagear, and of course a new ZAIA user, and they are competing in real estate to see who can sell more, a Humagear or a evolved human, quote unquote, per words of Guy, head of ZAIA.
Yeah.
And it's like we get to learn a little bit about this particular Humagear. She is very good at her job, and that's why she has been picked.
I mean, would you expect them to pick the worst one? Like, there wasn't really many options they could have gone for if they wanted to win.
Yeah. Oh, before I continue, we completely messed up last week. We didn't even mention the fact that a duplicate assault grip has been made for I almost said Sogo for Aruto's personal use, so now we get Shining Assault Hopper whenever. But moving on.
Yeah.
But
move off from that because honestly it makes me kind of sad.
Yeah. So we move on to this. I don't know. I like the episode. I do. Very good. Surprisingly, like a decent amount of depth building up our human ZAIA spec using, I guess, antagonist. Being like being a homeless kid, homeless person as a kid, not having, living in like a tiny one-room apartment. Like they show a shot of him and like his entire family sleeping on the floor with like, clothes. I don't know if it was clothes, but like definitely like raggedy rags, like blankets, keep them warm at night. And I think that's a really solid backstory for someone who would end up going into real estate, you know, from such a, like, you know, frankly, bottom beginning point, you know? That seems like a natural, like, growth point for someone in that situation. I'm really, really happy with that. You
Honestly, yeah, same.
For as much as of
It was
him,
good.
yeah, for as much as him being like, frankly, kind of a not a nice person, especially later on.
Bouncer is great.
Um,
I'm kidding.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
It's seeing him, you know, we get why he really wants to win this competition because he spent his whole life up to this point trying to become the best home sailor so that he doesn't end up in that place again.
Right.
Unfortunately, of course, as the formula is now, this man will be taken advantage of that mysterious hooded person who works for Metsubo Jinrai
Yes.
with
mysterious.
raid risers.
Yes. Very mysterious.
Yes. So
Okay.
over the course, all right. So over the course of the competition, Smile, being the human gear that is competing with the human,
That's
she's
a great name.
yeah, I like it too. It's easy to remember. So she starts to catch up to him in sales, and they're kind of going neck and neck. So he kind of, once he gets the splashing whale key to turn into a raid riser, or a raid raver with a raid riser, he kind of like starts sabotaging her sales, like destroying the houses that she's trying to sell to clients. Those types, you know, generally like what Guy got onto the flower ranger in the last arc for. So I wonder if we'll see that again. But naturally, he goes a step too far. You know, pointing out like, hey, she doesn't have a heart. How could she know what a home is like, or what a good home is, or what a home would be for you? And we get him kind of pushing around, bullying her, really beating up on her.
Literally shoves her.
Shoving her. He pulls her. He like drags her. Like he points out that like, oh, she's a machine. She doesn't get tired, so she's perfect for this. And he like sticks like a home sailing sign like down the back of her shirt, like, you know, like making her like a walking advertisement. And he like walks her around to like the nearest park, and he like shoves her into a fountain, like, you know, really nasty stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was hard to watch. Like it if they wanted to characterize him as hateable, they did it.
It's weird though because like they set him up like they were trying to make him sympathetic, and then
That's
he,
what
like,
I thought.
That shit. I'm
Yeah.
just like, wow. Okay.
I think I have a theory about the ZAIA spec, and it may have to do with how like it's all right. It's one of two things. It's the ZAIA spec, or it might be the raid riser doing it.
Huh.
Because like granted, the flower arrangement person in the previous episode wasn't exactly the nicest to the human gear in that competition, but he wasn't like sabotaging her at that point, unless I'm misremembering. It has been a few weeks. Did he sabotage her before he got a raid riser, or was that after?
Before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
he didn't even come with a raid riser until the second match.
Yeah, that's true. Huh. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, he was just an asshole. Like, simple as that.
Although maybe that, because like he's, I don't know. I guess it's poor characterization in that case for this guy. I don't even know his name. I'm very bad with like the general like week to week characters because you generally don't have to remember their name. But yeah, that is a solid point, Raptor. I think it's poor characterization. Although again, they might explain it as like, oh, the raid riser hijacks their sensibilities once it's been applied to them or something like that. Through the
I
ZAIA
mean,
spec.
yeah, but it doesn't. It even if we do go with that, or it is announced that that's what's happening,
Yeah.
it won't clear up that first asshole. 'Cause he was
Exactly.
just an asshole.
Yeah. But he never, although it is worth mentioning, I know I'm picking at straws, but he wasn't violent. He was just underhanded initially. But he was violent on that second arrival, and we didn't see any violent outburst from this home sailing guy until after he got a raid riser, which was pretty much immediately. So, yeah. Because,
Yeah, that's fair.
considering his upbringing and, his childhood and his past, I don't see him destroying a house, even if it was to get a lead in a competition.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know. I can't, I'm usually a pretty bad judge of character. I've just come to pretty much grasp that out on myself. But from what I've seen of him, he seems fine.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to see, because, there's still a whole half to this, and we don't even know yet. We'll probably be corrected, and we'll address it next week, if that's the case.
Yeah, because that's our job, I guess. It's not really a job, because it's not like we're forced to do this.
We're doing this for fun.
Yeah, we're just some guys who are podcasters for fun.
Yes.
Insert
Remember that.
References, yeah. Just a passing through podcaster.
Just a passing through podcaster. Remember that. Yeah. So, and then because of the violent bullying, we've learned how these new Arc variant Muggears are created, and we learned about a negative singularity, which is a really interesting concept in my opinion.
I think so too, but it does leave a very interesting thing that I've been wondering about ever since we heard about that, actually.
What?
If there's a negative singularity, why haven't we heard about this before? Because Hirobi said Hirobi and Jin had apparently reached singularity, not negative singularity.
Yeah. I think part of it is because the Arc wasn't completely active until the assault key was created, the assault grip.
That's true.
And assault wolf key.
That is true.
It was very it was shown to completely reactivate upon creation and downloading of all the progress key data, and then there's that scary ominous transformation from Vulcan with the eye on the center chest piece, and then the actual eye of the Arc. I think it may have to do with that, because we've only seen positive singularities up until this point.
Yeah, that is also true.
And also, there's a good chance. As for Hirobi, he probably reached singularity before. He may have been he may have reached that singularity before the Arc even completely fell, before it was sabotaged. He might be a pre Arc, even I guess I'm forgetting ZAIA, a pre ZAIA Humagear. Well, he must be.
ZAIA,
maybe.
What?
Hmm?
What are you trying to say?
I'm saying he was active and he maybe reached singularity before satellite ZAIA, or before the Arc was compromised. Do you know what I'm saying now?
Yeah. I get you.
Because it's very clearly stated that Jin was built by Hirobi, or maybe I came to realize maybe Hirobi had the Arc build Jin in their Daybreak. I was about to say fort. Their
it is weird,
home base.
Funky little fort, honestly.
It really is. It's like a collapsed building and collapsed satellite, pretty much. Yeah. So naturally reaching negative, that negative singularity, she goes berserk, turns into a I think it was the bat Magia, the extinct bat. I don't remember the name of it. No, wait, no, she was the squid. I'm thinking last week. No, the Neoi Magia.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. And we get to see more more of Aruto trying to hold back a rampaging Mugir instead of taking her out before it can harm a civilian. I'm a bit iffy on that, if I'm honest. I don't like Aruto's writing currently with that, because I feel like, he never hesitated to, take care of the problem before this point. Why should this be any different? Especially considering last week where that Humagear was reverted back to normal and she was fine. You think he would just take her out and then restore her, and he wouldn't have a problem with it? But I'm a bit iffy on that.
Honestly, as much as I am enjoying 01, I do think that is a bit of a weird plot hole that we've had recently.
Yeah, it's mischaracterization is what it is. I guess you could argue that it fits in with his caring, loving personality, even as a CEO.
You could argue that if you
but
again,
there's everything earlier that just kind of contradicts it. So I hope that I have a feeling it's probably gonna be an awakening moment for him, but it's not really an awakening if you never fell asleep.
Right.
Or I guess fake sleeping in this case. I'm a bit irked by it. I don't understand it, and I think it's a bit dumb.
There's nothing wrong with you not liking something.
Exactly.
Unless you're disliking that thing for literally no reason, in which case that just makes you a bit of a jerk. But
yes.
Whatever. That's just me. That's a little too far behind the curtain, I think.
Mm-hmm. I will say, all right. As far as what I liked the whale raid suit a lot.
It's called a Raider, by the way.
Is it Raid or Raider? I don't actually know yet.
It's actually Raider.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw the scan when we got the first scans of the Buffalo raid a month ago. So or Raider, I guess. Yeah, I guess
The only reason I even remember that is because I realized how close that actually sounds like Rider.
Oh, that's true.
And
they are humans.
They're humans, and they're using the normal Rider progress keys. I figured, yeah, that name fits.
This is true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, but I like the whale suit a lot. I think it looks cool.
Yeah, I do. I agree. It does look nice.
I think it's better than the Buffalo one from last week. Or last 2 weeks, whatever.
Also, can I say it's so cool how the Raiders actually have jingles, technically speaking?
Yeah.
Since they're using their normal progress keys?
Yeah, I do. I do like
really
that.
Nice. Because that means we get to hear some of the other progress keys somewhat heard and shown.
That way, if you don't have, maybe if you're not on that side of YouTube where you watch people do sound tests of the various both of the keys that have been used by Raiders so far, being the Buffalo key and the whale key, they are Gashapon keys or sugar toy keys, so they don't actually have full functionality. They do the job though. So it is nice to see them in a show. And not everyone watches those videos or knows how they get to those videos.
By the way,
so it's nice to see.
Guys, go subscribe to K2Eizo, I believe he was called.
K2Eizo. If you want Rider sound, belt sounds and Sentai reviews that are straight to the point. The guy doesn't even talk, but he just kind of he does the functions. So he plays the functions out. No background. If you just want to hear the sounds and see how it works, it's perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
So
and he shows you everything.
That's interesting to you. Go ahead and go and do that.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
He'll put it into all the various drivers of a season, whatever the gimmick is. He'll put it into weapons. He'll really show you what things work and look like. Anyway, tangent aside.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Now,
We got to see biting shark again after a while.
it has been quite some time.
It wasn't much
And
of a
honestly,
fight,
it
though.
took me a bit by surprise.
You know,
see
I just
the shark.
realized 0-1 using all the like lesser side grades is probably just the way to show off the Jack Riser and its capabilities. I just kind of realized that.
I mean, yeah. That way we have more Thouser and more
I don't
attacks.
mind. I mean, the Jack Riser
Oh
is
yeah,
a cool
I
weapon.
don't mind either. Jack Rise,
Yeah,
but
jacking
Jack
break.
Rise. Man, I
Presented
love
by
all of the
ZAIA.
ZAIA gear.
The ZAIA gear is fun. Yeah, I don't think we haven't really seen a weapon like the Jack Riser before.
That is also true.
It's fun. It's a fun weapon. Fowler kicked more butt as usual. They're like
Also, the fact that it's called the Jack Riser and it actually steals powers just makes me happy.
It's good. It doesn't like fully steal them, but like
level.
it copies them, and it's cool. Not to correct you, by the way. I'm sorry, Raptor.
Okay, I see how it is.
You want to fight?
Jack Rise. No, but the only reason I said that though is because I know jacking something is actually slang for stealing something.
Yeah.
Too. So it just really fits that name.
Yeah.
It's I like it.
It's cool. I like the weapon too. I mean, it's like I haven't like quite like figured out like what it's supposed to be. But
oh, it's a jack.
No, is it like?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
obviously. But like, is it like horn? Does it have like? I know it has like there's like a handle guard. I'm wondering if it's like going for like a beetle motif or not.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it is going for a beetle type thing, but I'm not sure yet. I don't think they'll ever specify either because they still haven't confirmed what Kiva's motif is, and I really want to know.
Kiva's a jack-o'-lantern, a vampire, and a bat. No, I'm not joking. I can provide the evidence later if you want.
No. I was just making a joke about that 1 decade side skit they did.
Is there?
Where, yeah, there was this whole side skit they did where they had the characters in a show type guest show, and they were.
I've seen a couple of them. I haven't seen this one.
They were supposed to guess what Kiva's theme was, and they all guessed different answers, and then the buzzer for the right answer just dinged, and no one got to know who was the right answer. So they just got in an argument over who was right.
Well, what were the answers?
It was a jack-o'-lantern, like I said.
Oh, okay. Well, there's one of the ones I said.
Yeah, it was a jack-o'-lantern, a bat,
vampire.
and I don't remember the third one, but it was
could be
not
chains.
A vampire. I think the third answer was actually like a moon or something like that.
Moon. He does have like a crescent like moon on his forehead.
Yeah.
So that could be it. Yeah.
But it's weird because they just joked around like, "Yep, those are the answers. That's the answer." Like,
Wait,
which one?
No, I'm looking at Kiva right now. There's no crescent moon on his head. I'm dumb. You know, I'm thinking of Emperor Form actually. Emperor Form has like a crescent shape on his head. Yeah.
Supernova is still my ringtone for most things. So.
As it should be.
You know.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest song in all of Kamen Rider, if you ask me. But
Party would like an answer. Would like to question you. All right.
Question.
Yeah. So I don't know the action. I'm trying to remember the action scene. It's been a couple days. So honestly, the fight was really just like Niohi, Fauser, biting shark, and like was the raid in there too?
No, not really.
No, okay.
The raid basically escaped.
Yeah.
Actually, weird though, because we consistently get new like how do I put this? The raids. I don't know. It's weird because, as you mentioned earlier, Aruto has just been really uncharacteristic, really.
Yeah.
Compared to that we've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
And so more than anything, he's basically just becoming this weird antagonist because he's the core reason a lot of these raids stay alive as long as they do.
Yeah.
He would just go out of his way and actually, big shock here. I'm gonna say work with Thouser for a while and just take it out and stop trying to fight him all the time and let it go.
Yeah.
A lot of the raiders wouldn't be around as long as they are.
Yeah, especially if they had like Shining Assault and Faucer working together against a single raid, they wouldn't stand a chance.
Exactly, because as we've learned from the raids, they're not all that strong, honestly. Like, I think that's a weird thing that I've noticed. Like, they're pretty hyped up, like they're big deals, but when you really go back and look at it,
I think they're big deal. I don't think they've been hyped
they're
up.
not strong.
I don't think they've been hyped up as like being strong. I think they've been more hyped up as the fact that it's just another problem to deal with, and it's actual humans this time.
Fair
So
enough.
this
there's
could be
a moral
more ones.
dilemma about hurting the people or something like that. But I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. Have we seen him like? Have we seen? No, we've seen Faucer stomp Shining Hopper. Never mind. Yeah, it's like
That was a crazy fight, also, by the way.
yes.
Um,
Was there another fight? I feel like I'm forgetting one. It was Vulcan and like 01 early on in the episode were together, like fighting together at one point. They were fighting the raid. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, a standard fight. It was just kind of like a, ooh, I'm gone now. Yeah, it's yeah. So after that Magyar got taken care of by Faucer, I'm trying to remember, did 01 and Faucer fight, and was it a stomp battle? And if it was, it probably was.
I mean, once you have the answer to one of your questions, you usually have the answer to the other one. Especially
So did they fight?
I believe so. I just don't remember because
It's been a couple days.
Look,
We need to
be
record these
completely
sooner.
honest. To be honest, we're recording this a bit late.
Yeah. It is currently Tuesday, so it's been a couple days since we've both seen the episode.
And here's my honest opinion.
Oh yeah, let's do an overall review of the episode and of how you liked it.
I thought it was okay. That was it.
Yeah, that's about where I stand.
Nothing extraordinary or even super noteworthy. Like, to me, at least, everything they really talked about was stuff that we had a general idea about already.
Yeah, except dark or negative singularities. We didn't. We now know how the Ark is creating these magia.
Well, at least officially, we now know. Instead of just assuming that it's just the same thing that was going on with Hirobi.
Yeah. No, it's a specific type of... And it's like they even mentioned, it's specifically when humans treat human gear terrible.
Yeah.
Such as last week with the flower arranger.
Yeah. Although... I'm about to get hate. Okay.
Oh no.
So,
just go ahead.
Generally speaking, brace yourself.
Oh boy.
I'm not loving 01, honestly.
Really? I thought you were liking it.
Like, I am, but like, compared to some of the other seasons that I've seen, I'm just like, yeah, this is nice.
Yeah.
Not extraordinarily, like, well written or anything like that. And overall, I'm just like, this is just okay.
Yeah.
Nothing extremely mind blowing, but it's fun. And I can't say I'm against it just being fun, but at the same time, it just, I don't know. There's something with it. It's just not really clicking with me yet. Like, I definitely don't dislike it, but I'd say it's pretty average so far. That's just my take on it at the moment, at least.
Yeah, that's fair.
That
I like
could
it.
Completely change by within the next 2 episodes. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so far, it's like, yeah, this is okay.
We're like halfway in. Like, we're at the point where the plot usually starts to really pick up. This is kind of like we're like in the we're in like the pre heavy like plot episode. Like, we'll probably, I give it like, what are we, like 20 right now? Yeah, we're on like episode 20.
Oh yeah, the next episode is episode 20.
So I'd say like a couple more weeks, and we'll probably start moving into like um maybe several more weeks. I don't actually. I I don't want to like lock myself down and be like, hey, yo, G2, you were wrong. Ah, nice.
Nice.
I think we have like several weeks. I wouldn't say like less than 4 episodes, but like definitely somewhere between 4 and 10. As far as
All
like
right.
when we'll probably start to get into the real like fic plot of everything.
Yeah, I'll hold you to your word, Gio.
I know you will. Um,
Every single episode, every single time an episode comes out, I'll mention this comment.
I mean, ideally, it will only take a couple weeks until I'm proven wrong, right?
Yeah, like I said, though, I'm not wishing anything against the show. Still, like I said,
Yeah, no, I understand. Like, it's not, it's middle of the road. You like things that's doing, but there's like certain things, like currently Arto's character mishandling of his character.
Yeah.
Last couple episodes. Like, I get it.
Plus, honestly, I kind of miss Ikazuchi already. Like, still, because like he was really cool.
Gone
but now
too
he's just
quick.
Gone. Like he didn't he last literally
It was one episode.
single episode.
It was one episode. He was a rider disguised as a monster of the week. He was scissor status. That didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like to say that, but it's true.
Yeah, which it sucks to say that too, and
Because he had like
Yeah.
the Ikazuchi suit was really good.
yeah.
Like the only like original thing is the helmet, but like I don't know, the way that Toei recycles suit parts is just fascinating to me because like no matter like how much they recycle, they can make a good suit out of it.
Right. Like how a majority of Mad Rogue is just Night Rogue but white.
Yeah, or like recolored in certain ways,
Large part
mix
of
and
it.
match. Yeah, and like
But,
the
You know,
three
what's
future.
fair to Ikazuchi, and instead of comparing them to Scissors, I'm gonna compare them to Incisor from Dragon Knight.
You can do
Because
that.
although they showed up for just around the same time, but Incisor actually had a genuine plot behind him.
Oh, that's good. I haven't watched Dragon Knight. Maybe I will at one point. You'll see.
You really should. Dragon Knight was so good. It's time for that segment I like to call chilling out Dragon Knight. So y'all should watch Dragon Knight. I like it. That's about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Alright.
I like it. I really like it. Opinion, I think it's better than Ryuki, but that's just me. And I have finished all of Ryuki and all of Dragon Knight, so I can actually say my opinions on both of those. And I think I like Ryuki less, a lot less. I don't like Ryuki.
All right.
Oh man, like I have opinions on that show.
So, episode 20 will be next week. That is 1,000% the best house. Should be a fun one. We get to see the continuation of the real estate competition between a restored Smile and the human. I don't remember his name right now. I'm sorry. I should become more
Axel?
prepared. Let me check. It
his
was
name?
Tatsumi. That's his name.
Wait, how'd you check that fast? Wait.
I had the page. I had like a web page open to like the episode the entire time.
Oh.
Yeah, just for like remind myself of
Gio
something.
being prepared.
Ooh. I opened a wiki page. All right.
But
I don't think there's really anything else to talk about. I mean, we pretty much discussed all the major points of the episode. What we liked, what we disliked.
There's always new stuff to talk about. Like we can talk about the 01 driver. We actually never talked about any of the drivers. Now I'm thinking about it.
I mean, we could if you wanted to.
Like I'm just thinking, because we might as well stretch this out a little bit longer. And since we never actually got into the video where we talked about our overview of 01 as a whole so far, we never mentioned that. And
All right.
I feel like, and as a matter of fact, we never even stated our opinions on ProDrive skis or Zetsumetsu drive skis. So I feel like we probably should have gotten into that at some point.
We can do that real quick before wrapping up, if you want.
Yeah, why not?
All right, let's start with I guess the 01 driver. Thoughts? That was
I
a
think
clap.
it's nice.
I think it's a fun belt. It's very sleek. When I first saw it, I remember seeing rumor drawings of it, and it was actually it, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, it looks a little basic. I don't know where's the gimmick go? Is there not going to be a gimmick this year? And I was like, what? This probably isn't real. Turned out to be real. They hide the gimmick of it very well. It's crazy how not gimmicky the belt looks. You don't see previous Rider seasons, the gimmick is right front and center, attached to the belt, the ride watches or the full bottles and the drivers and every other thing. But it just, the Pro Guys keys just slip right into the right side of the driver, and they hide themselves very well. You can see their corner, and that's it, really.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I've never had anything against gimmicks.
Me neither.
I think gimmicks are great.
Yeah. I was amazed about how
right?
sleek and hidden they are in this belt.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see them done super well. They just fit really nicely, and I'm cool with that.
Although you do get into some protrusion if you have the assault grip into the shining hopper key. It does stick out a bit, but I feel like that was probably inevitable.
I mean, this is kind of I remember when the Gamer Driver first came out, and everyone immediately knew we were gonna have a double-sized Gashat. That was inevitable. No one was asking if, everyone was asking when.
Yeah,
I didn't see the stands or anything like that. Everyone just knew. Since there was nothing.
Yeah.
Spots.
I could see if I was a fan at that point. I hadn't I jumped in the Rider a little bit after X8 started, so that December. So the Mighty Action Double X Gashat had already debuted, so I had already known about that when I was starting to get into X8. So I could see myself I could see that discussion happening and that being a natural conclusion at that point.
I keep forgetting you weren't in the community.
Yeah.
Back then. Ah, man. Sorry.
I'd jump. No, it's okay, because the way I talk and how much I know at this point, or how much I think I know, how much I've immersed myself. You think I'd be a fan for
You are the Gaia library.
Yeah. You think I'd be you think I'd be watching it for several years at this point? Nope. 2016. Haven't been a fan for that long.
I've seen less Kamen Rider than you, but I've known Kamen Rider far longer, and it's so weird. But you wouldn't know that just by thinking.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very good, very fun hobby. I mean, I enjoy it a lot.
That's good.
But
just happy to have you. Or at least I am.
I appreciate it. But the 01 driver, back to it. Cool lights, cool sounds. The voice is nice. I like the scanning and I like the henshin process of scanning the Pro Guys keys after activating them and then putting them into the driver and the front sliding. It's a well designed, fun driver, is what I would say.
Honestly, as I've come to just live by the statement that I've stolen from Nintendo. If it's not fun, then why bother?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Definitely. I feel about Kamen Rider.
As much as video game, that's a philosophy for video games. That's definitely a philosophy for toys, for sure.
Yeah, because
that's the whole idea.
If it's not fun, then who's going to? It's a toy. You're marketing it to children. If they don't want to play with it, then they're not going to buy it, and they're not going to ask their parents to buy it. Yes. So really, you should focus on having it fun first. Yes. Really,
exactly.
That's just how I see honestly. But
all right, next belt driver transformation device, Shot Riser.
Shot Rise.
Probably my favorite belt of the series, actually.
Really?
It's as someone who owns one, it's a lot more playable because it's also a role play weapon, being a gun henshin device.
Okay.
It fits the hand very well, in my opinion. It's just you can do a little bit more with it because it is a gun. I think it also stretches back to how I feel about certain roleplay weapons. I think guns are superior to toy swords because one, they don't have to compensate for the size as much, and two, you're not gonna hurt someone by pretending to shoot someone, and that's part of the reason why they like scale down the swords outside of it being for kids, so that like
Wait,
they aren't as
you haven't hurt someone with a pretend gun?
Man,
no.
you're just not pulling the trigger with enough force. Or you're clearly just not throwing the gun at people.
Yeah. As far as like hiding the gimmick, it doesn't do it as well as like the 0-1 driver, but like the way that you put in the Pro Guys keys is very fun. Whether you're replicating Yua's transformation or Fua's transformation, they're both fun.
Honestly, I think both their transformations are equally great in their own right. But Fua ripping the Pro Guys key open every single time is just amazing.
I don't know. There's something about inserting it like open already, and like while it's in gun mode, that's just like a lot more fun than like spinning it and like putting it in closed and like flipping it up. I don't know. It's like I feel like it feels cooler. Is what I don't know. Like I don't know how to word it. It's not.
I don't know how to word it either, but I get what you're saying. It
like
just feels better.
If you had one or had a chance to mess with one, I'm sure you'd agree. Hopefully you do at one point. If we ever like meet up at one point, we will definitely play with some Japanese children toys.
Yes, two practically grown men playing with toys about small Japanese children. What is a better use of our time?
No idea. But like Shot
I
Riser.
will say though, I'm going to pick up an exchanger soon.
Oh yeah. Then forgot about that.
By default, since I'm gonna pick up X Emperor.
Yes.
And I'm going to only display it as Good Cool Kaiser VSX because
why not?
that's just me.
Anyway, Shot Riser. Shot Riser is pretty good.
Nothing to do with Kamen Rider, but so we're gonna move on.
Yeah. Shot Riser is pretty cool. I like it. What do you think?
Yeah. Shot Rise.
All right. Force Riser.
Being honest, one of my favorite transformation devices, purely out of bias, has always been the DN driver.
So
I say purely out of bias because that was the first one I ever got when my parents found out about Kamen Rider and they found that on sale. So I got that as a Christmas present, and so by default I just fell in love with the DN driver. And so when I heard that we're getting another secondary where the main transformation device is a blue gun, I just got super happy, honestly.
Has it lived up?
Yes.
Good.
It's done everything I wanted and more, because unlike a lot, like one of my big issues with recent Kamen Rider has always been that they've had the same type of, like they've had the same belt as the main rider, and I've always been fine with it, but I've always would have preferred if it was something different, you know?
Yeah, I don't really mind either way. I just as long as it fits the rider, and the Shot Riser definitely fits Vulcan.
Yeah,
Vulcan.
I guess Valkyrie too.
Yeah.
Not as much.
Yeah, that goes back to my whole like the very obvious that like the Shooting Wolf key and the Shot Riser were designed in tandem, especially color wise, and like Shooting Wolf, even though shooting and wolves don't make sense together, and like it's a very clear like the Rushing Cheetah key was definitely made afterwards, as well as Valkyrie.
Oh yeah. Valkyrie.
All right, next is the Force Riser.
Force Rise.
Good sounds.
Yes.
Execution as a toy, in my opinion.
Out of the 4 belts, it's definitely not my favorite. I think that much is.
Yeah.
It's not the best.
It does things.
Very much not the best of the.
It's very budget. I think it's it's basically the budget driver of the season.
Debatable.
Like it doesn't do much. Like granted, like the 1000 driver doesn't do much either, but like I don't know, there's like one of my complaints is that the LED, like the red LED was a horrible choice for that. Like I get like the color. All right, let me reword that. The color was great. The construction of it doesn't do much for the like little like reticle, like that, you know, like the projection of like the animal symbol. Like it doesn't fill that the red like beam in the back the base of like the belt, it doesn't fill that picture well enough in any angle. I feel like it would have been better if like that end was closed and it was like maybe a larger red LED.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Yeah. It, like, as far as like the gimmick of it ripping up, like, I'm not complaining about it ripping like the gimmick and like idea of it ripping open the keys forcefully, such as the name, because that's a really cool idea, and like it's a nice idea, like it's really nice. It's just I wish the toy execution was better.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. And also,
yeah.
Continue. My bad. No, you go.
I didn't know what I was gonna go with that actually.
Okay, neither did I. Well, it's got cool sounds. I like the breakdown like voice effect that they use for it. But outside of that, it's all right. It's a Villain Rider belt.
Yeah, I can't complain too much about it because I'm still convinced it performs witchcraft sometimes.
What do you mean?
Oh, did you notice how whenever you put any progress,
it has the text to speech. I have an answer for that.
It has text to speech,
but the Jin
unless it's Jin or Hirobi's key.
I have an answer for that.
You do?
Yeah, remember when like a couple weeks ago I was like messing with ProGuys keys?
Oh yeah.
I learned that every ProGuys key has like, all right, so you have to think of it like this. So there's a authorized and unauthorized state. The authorized state, the 0-1 driver presses one button constantly, and then when you insert it, it presses the other, and that plays the 0-1 driver engine. And then if it's authorized and it presses one button first and then the other, like the reverse, then it knows it's in the shot riser. Now, the force riser doesn't authorize it, so when it gets put into the force riser, it presses the same combination of the shot riser buttons, but it still plays the henshin. And the reason that the Jin and Falcon, the Falcon and Scorpion key don't play the text to speech at the end is because they have a special, those two keys have a special configuration specifically for the force riser button combination, which is bottom press plus bottom press without an authorize. But the others don't. They just reuse the shot riser version of the henshin sound. The more you know.
Wait. Oh, wait, never mind. I was just about to ask, if that's the case, then why do they still play the text-to-speech in the shot riser? Then it cleared up my head, like, oh yeah, it gets authorized. Yeah. That's fine. Done.
There's like so every key has like two voice clips, being 0-1 driver full, shot riser plus, shot riser, and that's it for all of them, except the Scorpion and Flying key have 3, being voice clip, full, shot riser, just the name.
Flying Falcon.
Exactly. Sorry to go on a tangent.
I get it. So that's always
cool. We talked about the 1000 driver last week, so I feel like we don't have to.
Oh yeah, we did. I like
ProGuys keys.
Just saying that again, I like it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. I have my issues with it. Watch the last podcast to figure what those are.
Or if we find out we didn't talk about them and we just forgot.
I'll run down. It's basic. It doesn't do much, but it sounds nice, and it's probably going to be one of those slash driver, beyond driver, limited gimmick, maybe even only one or two gimmicks things. Moving on. ProGuys keys as a general. What do you think about them?
They're nice.
They are nice.
I mean, I can't say much on them because I don't own any. But from what I have seen of them, they are cool.
Yeah, they're fun. They're very fun to fiddle with. Flip open and flip close. The LED, I feel like they could probably be cheaper and use less batteries. They don't really need the LED in them, in my opinion.
That's fair.
One issue, these are gimmicks that you should not buy unless you really want them if you don't have either a attached weapon or one of the belts, even if it's the force riser. you don't absolutely need it, but like I strongly recommend that you own one of at least one piece of equipment from the DX line, because you're not going to get much play with them because they're hard to like get the sounds out of. The pins that are used to play them are they're encased in the outer plastic, unlike the ride watches, for example, which have kind of like those buttons like three to like mess with, or like the gashats, which is the same situation. And of course, if you want to even get the full henshin, you need a magnet. But everyone knows. But like that's just they're not fun. If you want to get, I will say, if you want a Progrise key for your own, and you don't have the money to splash for a driver of any kind, get a Sugar Toy or Gashapon. Now, most people, I feel like there's some people in the community that look down on these options because they're more budget and they don't do as much, but you're not sacrificing much. You're sacrificing full like on-screen functionality, yes, but lights and lights and decreased sound quality, but what you get is more fun to mess with because their button is large and you can press them with your hand and you can just play the sounds outright, so you can just hear the sounds whenever you want, versus having to get a magnet, get like chopsticks, or like like some sort of like fin stick, or anything to activate out of a normal key. That's what I have to say. So if you don't have the money for a full DX key or a full driver, get a Sugar Toy or Gashapon one. Do not be scared of them. They are wonderful.
Well, you guys heard it here. You heard it from him first here. You heard it from Geo first, folks. Go get yourself a Sugar Toy version.
Or Gashapon, either one.
Blah.
They're both the same. The differences are minute.
Oh, boy.
They're basically the same thing. If you can get a Sugar Toy, get a Sugar Toy. If you get a Gashapon, get a Gashapon. They're the same thing. They have like slight differences, but they're very not noticeable at all. I wish people... I used to view... the reason I'm saying this is because I used to view Gashapon and Sugar Toy as inferior when they're like I just said, in most cases, they're actually better.
I haven't heard you be able to spat out your unpopular opinion in a long time.
I haven't... Yeah, I guess it's more like... I feel like more people should appreciate them.
I definitely agree, honestly.
And that goes to you too, Raptor. Like, if you ever need to, like, get a Gashapon, like, Progrise key. Like,
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
Just because I am me, I just decided to hold off on 01 merch just in general for a little while.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I didn't want that to come off as rude, but, like,
Oh, no,
seriously,
no,
go for the Sugar Toy and Gashapon things. They are, like I said, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I think that's all we really have to talk about this week.
Yeah.
We did a Q&A segment, kind of.
Yes, that was Q&A.
We talked recent releases.
Our question to answer ratio was exactly 1-to-1. So I think we did pretty good this time.
Win. Yeah, but we did the Q&A. We did recent releases in the Rider, for the Rider, Rider line, and we talked about the newest episode and a little bit bonus unplanned catch up from last week that we didn't mention.
Yes. So all in all, I think we did pretty good.
If you liked it, share it. If you disliked it, dislike it. We would love your feedback. We can only get better or get worse. We'll see. Like we mentioned at the beginning.
Just like good cheese. It gets longer and then it gets better until it's gotten too long. And you're like, well.
Now this is gross. But if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll answer as many as we can fit in, which is probably a few. So
We should
don't feel
probably
afraid to
like
comment.
all of them, since most of the time the only thing we actually have anything to talk about are the releases and the new episode. And honestly, we can wrap that up pretty quickly, depending on how we
Yeah.
feel that.
So we
or
would
how-
love more, like, and as far as like questions, if you have any suggestions for anything you want us to talk about, like certain suit designs, certain like stories, certain like episodes, different seasons, we would love to talk about those. We want to know what you guys want to hear,
We'll
because
talk about different tokusatsu in general. If you
yeah,
really
well, both of us generally stick to Rider, but like we both watch a little bit of Sentai.
I've started to go back and watch a lot more.
Yeah.
recently.
We can talk. We will be talking Kira Mager when it comes out on March 8th. So,
Kira Major will be an interesting conversation.
yeah, we'll have 2 episodes to talk about. So that's good. Yeah, if you want to suggest anything, please do. We would love to. This should be an open conversation. We want to make you guys feel like you're at home, and
Yes.
we're both very respectful when it comes to opinions. So just share your opinions on things. How you felt about this episode.
Bad.
How
No
you
bad
felt.
opinion.
So
kidding,
I think that's gonna be it for this week.
Oh, and wait, one more thing.
Oh.
Request. Please, someone. Request Samurai Flamenco, the anime. Please.
What is that?
So good. It's so good. You should watch it, by the way, Gio.
Okay, maybe.
Long story short, it's an anime about a supermodel who decided that he wants to be a tokusatsu hero instead.
Okay, now I'm interested.
And the world goes from "what the fuck are you doing, you crazy millennial," and it goes from that all the way to "what this shit is even happening anymore? Why are there aliens?" It's like, and honestly, like if you've seen Madoka Magica, it kind of has a similar vibe to that, where it starts off super happy and chill, and then starts getting really deep, profound, and honestly kind of makes you question morality itself. But if
All right, well,
that
there's
sounds at all interesting to you, guys should watch that too.
All right, well, there's a random unplanned show suggestion for Raptor. We'll see you guys next week.
No one ever talks about the show. It makes me sad.
We'll
I'll
see
watch
you
it
guys.
on Netflix one day.
We'll see you guys next week.
All right, peace out.
Bye bye.
Bees trigger.